On this episode of After the Buzzer, we are going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors. No, just kidding.
What?
Just kidding. No, we're going to be talking about the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics, still in Game 6, I believe. And for the other series, we got some notes to hit on, right? Because the Lakers were eliminated. Let's get to that intro
What?
music. And welcome back to the podcast. I am your co-host, Tony McKee, and with me, as always, are my longtime friends and co-hosts, Nolan Chang, Jared Shirai. Say what's up to the pod, boys.
Hello.
What's up?
Coming live from Cancun.
Anyway, drinks on you guys. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. Anyway, so we are here talking about the Lakers, and unfortunately, it's not great news. But we are here, and if you did not get a chance to see some of our clips regarding LeBron James and his upcoming free agency / possible retirement, go on over to our Instagram to check those clips out, where we can go a little bit more in depth with that. But today we're going to be talking about the basketball games themselves. Obviously not great for Laker fans, but the Nuggets did take the sweep for the series in the Western Conference Finals. And now they're headed into the actual finals to face whoever wins between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. But we're going to get the notes on some of the things that happened in that series between the Nuggets and the Lakers. So whichever you wants to start, we'll just open house this thing.
Next person.
You're gonna get it all. You're gonna get it all out, Nolan.
Here we go. This is your Lakers vent sesh.
You know,
Don't cry about it.
it's just so hard. No, hey, I'm gonna give all the credit to the Nuggets. They were not even just the better team. They have been I would say, arguably the best team in the postseason thus far. There's a reason why they were the number 1 seed in the West this season. And they were clicking on all cylinders at the right time. And, Jamal Murray, we've said it, and I'll say it again. I'm so glad to see that he came back healthy and pretty much, I would say, even better than he was before since the ACL injury. And Jokic proving why he should be the three-peat MVP of the year of the league. And I think the biggest thing that we can also kind of look at, and a lot of people were saying that, this is the same bubble team. Lakers couldn't do it because the bubble, whatever. Keep in mind, they didn't have Michael Porter Jr. during that series when we played against them. And Michael Porter Jr. was a huge piece for the Nuggets this season. Health has been a big issue with him, and the fact that he was able to play a full season. I mean, it wasn't 82 games, but he was able to play a full season
Still the
in
biggest
today's
miss.
terms.
By the
Available
by the
for
way.
whichever season.
Still the biggest miss to not draft Michael Porter Jr. at number 7 and pick Wendell Carter Jr., but whatever. Yeah.
Well, because he played literally 20 seconds of his college career and then got injured.
Don't get me started. He was a presumable number 1
That
overall
guy.
pick. I would have definitely taken that kid, but I was so pissed when they just let him slide.
Kind of like a
all
Joel
into
Embiid.
15.
Didn't Joel Embiid play like? Oh no, it was Kyrie.
he actually
played
played-
minimal games.
Yeah, I was like, he actually played and then he got injured right before the draft.
But yeah, I think one of the biggest weapons that the Nuggets have is the fact that they out-rebound. I believe the differential in comparison to the second best rebounding team in the league, I think, is 12 rebounds or something along those lines. That's crazy to hear.
That
Like a
is.
team that doesn't necessarily have crazy athletic rebounding, but they do the best job of blocking each other out of the key, making sure they get the second chance opportunities. And I think the thing that hurt the Lakers the most was them getting those rebounds. They literally flick it out to the top of the key. We try to close out on that 3, and they flick it to the wing right away, and it'd be Michael Porter Jr. or KCP on the wing, and they hit those shots every single time. So
I mean,
it
Michael
hurts.
Porter Jr., I think the thing is he's like a mismatch, even if you do have good defense on him, like
Really?
size-wise. I mean, he's 6'9", 6'10",
I
somewhere
think
like
he's
that.
6'9".
6'9", I
I
think.
was like, I know when he came in, I think he was like the same size as KD.
He's
so I
what
was
Kyle
just like-
Kuzma was supposed to be for the Lakers. I mean, Kyle Kuzma's stepping into it, but
I mean, Loki, you probably could have used him this year. Just saying.
just some
Yeah.
thoughts.
Just a little of the series.
But Lakers weren't able to come through in the end. It was a clean sweep. No arguments there. Absolutely deserving of the sweep because the Nuggets were the two games that we started with leads. Nuggets were able to come back and push the issue and make those wins. And I think they said that the overall difference in game was a total of 6 points, I think, in loss. So literally the games could have gone either way, but the Nuggets were the better team and pulled it off. So credit to them. I'm rooting for them to take the chip this year. I know the Heat and Celtics are still battling it out, and I'll let Jared kind of cover that one. But I'll see you guys next season.
You think it's detrimental right now to
I like how you said. I like you said, "See you next season." Like we don't still have some serious.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
He's
I
like,
know.
he's like,
So the next couple episodes just me and Jayson, I guess. Yeah.
I just want to take.
I got you, no, I got you, Kenny.
Yeah, that was like
He'll be on Warzone ranked, and we'll be
yeah,
grinding out the episodes.
Yeah.
And no, I was just saying, do you think it's like detrimental that they won in 4 because they've been such a I know they've been talking about how it's hard to keep that momentum going and everything because they're waiting for that 7 game. I mean, it's nice to get a break, but
I would say yes, but I feel like their style of play this benefits them, just because they have the workhorses. They get those kind of mini breaks during the game that allows them to get those runs. It's not like the Warriors where it's run and gun, and if you have the hot hand and you're flowing off the last game you just had 2 days ago, you're going to be back in at this game. For them, it's you can afford to miss a shot and have them turn around and still get the second chance opportunity, the third chance opportunity. And Jamal Murray, unless the Celtics or Heat understand how to actually guard him for 48 minutes, he's still going to be one
Marcus
of the
Smart.
I mean, hey, that's if they win. So if not, you're gonna have
still gotta win too. Yeah.
You're gonna have stress on them. But anyways, yeah.
It's funny because in my head, I'm thinking that rebound statistic is kind of what's helping me think that they're gonna be fine because realistically,
they have Adebayo and
I mean, they look. I mean,
And
that
then
team just
Kevin Love.
that
Yeah,
team just
Kevin
always
Love's
looks
not
like they have
the
6
rebounding beast he
people
used to be.
on the court. The Nuggets, like,
Yeah.
there were some
Yeah.
moments where like they were out rebounding you guys, and I'm like, is like, do they have an extra guy? I don't understand. Like their team seems to be running all small ball lineups, and it's just insane to see that.
Really, though.
Like,
No, it's pretty crazy. I'm not
It was
gonna lie,
absolute
because I was
chaos.
watching the game cast like offensive rebound, offensive. I was like, bro, are we gonna grab a board or?
actually, before we get into your breakdown fully, Jared, I'm kind of curious. Where would you put Jamal Murray as far as point guards in the league?
Me or
As currently,
I said Jared. Yeah.
oh, sorry.
currently
Mm-hmm.
with the way he's been playing off his injury, top 5.
Now,
All right, top 5.
let me rephrase this. Where would you position Jimmy Butler as a top 5? Like, would you put him as a top 5? But he just kind of blew up during the playoffs. Does that mean you're immediately saying he's top 5?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know why? You know why though? Because I think he's taking the LeBron approach. He's just calculated, like that.
That's true.
Mentality to like play hard all year, but not that hard, and then like save it all for this. Like,
And I think it was they're always saying that, like, oh, like the Heater, losing their step. I was like, man, they've been playing hard every series. Let them take a 2-game break. I'm not saying that the Celtics can't take this game 6, but I'm just saying that the Heat needed this break, and I think that's going to be very exciting to see.
Well, that's why we said 5, right? Because we were thinking that there was going to be at least a 1-game fall off because of how hard it was. So I mean, but I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say with Jimmy because there's playoff Jimmy, and like you said, it's the LeBron approach of everything. He gets the job done to get. He just gets there, and then and that's literally what it comes down to. You're literally playing for the playoffs. You're just playing to get into playoffs, and then from there is where you literally
like
find
nobody
that
cares
second year.
about your number 1 seed if you didn't make it through the playoffs. Like that's just where it lies. Like nobody's gonna care at the end of the day because at the end of like 10 years from now, we're just gonna be talking about who won the championship. So that's why I said it's like for me, Jimmy Butler is that dude. I mean, he put himself at least up in like the upper echelon of forwards for the league.
Jimmy
right now,
Butler, Jordan.
You telling me? Just saying. Anyway, but Jared, what are your thoughts on the rest of the series or how it went for you guys? What did you see from the Lakers or not see, and what did you see from the Nuggets?
There's a lot of things I didn't see. I was actually playing basketball, but no. I mean, AD. You could tell that they were trying to make it an AD team. You know, they tried to get him going, and then there's some games where he just didn't get going. I think there's one game where he put up like 12 shots or something, and he scored like barely double digits. The factors is the depth of the benches, I would say. The Lakers bench literally didn't show up. Games 1, 2, 3. For game one, let's start with game one. I don't know what freaking lineup we decided to put out there. Freaking ridiculous. They changed the rotation, they changed everything, trying to match in here, and they just didn't show up. Game 2 and 3, I will honestly say, D'Angelo Russell, there's a reason why he probably won't be in LA next year, and it's from this series. I think he shot like 36% from the field and literally like 12% from the 3-point line or something. It was some ridiculous number. I was reading an article here and there about it.
This is where they said that D'Lo is going to be the X factor.
Yeah, he was going to be if he made shots when he needed to. No, honestly, if he made his shots like how Reeves and Hachimura, were doing through everything.
Why the bench suffered too.
Like
Rui moved to the starting lineup for the last game.
And that's why And I mean, in all honesty, I think they should have won that last game. LeBron goes off for 31. He goes off for 31. They're up at the half, and they're up for a good amount of the game. And I mean, it's just, I feel, and this is me being a LeBron fan, of course, I'm going to get some hate from it, but I feel like he just got no help. Like he tried to do the things that he wants to do going into year 20 of the season of his career. Sorry. He wants to be a secondary option, and he wants to be a playmaker. And I think that's what he ended up doing for the first 3 games, realized it didn't work. So he went out and he got 40. It wasn't Dylan Brooks calling his ass out. He just went out and he got 40. Yeah, it sucks because he only scored 9 points in the second half. I mean, it did slow down, but you got to think, I mean, and not excuses or whatever. You can say it in your comments and whatever. They made great adjustments, but it's like, he is playing on a bum ankle. He is 38, 39 years old. I know what it feels like to try and play that at that age. I mean, let's be real about that. Playing a 4-game, a best of 7 series, or playing a 3-day tournament
millions
weekend
of dollars, Jared.
No, still. I mean, I'm gonna say that.
I have a rant that I'm gonna go on, and I just think it's hilarious that Jared's saying all of this.
I was like $1 million.
It's a large part of my rant. I'm gonna get into after this.
Oh, the health, or is it?
I was like, there's a lot. You'll see. It's funny because I was like, I mentioned it in the Instagram posts. It was like, there's a reason why I feel the way I felt at the end of that podcast, or at the end of that little post. So even though Nolan didn't post it, so nobody even knows what I'm talking about, but still. Even though nobody he didn't post my hot take.
Hey, I'm just saying, the quick clips I hit have the most likes of all our posts so far. So I did something right with the ones I picked. They got like 350 plays each. I was like, "Whoo, let's go!"
Everybody just want to check it out.
Come like our post.
350,000. Come get on the train. No,
choo choo. Anyway,
but no,
oh my God, for the my real stew. I'm just joking.
No, I would say like that. Yeah, from the Lakers standpoint, that's what it was. But like Nolan said, you can't talk down how well the Nuggets played this series. They're playing great ball. They're peaking at the right moments. They remind me with the way they kind of move the ball and they have their 1-2 punch. It kind of reminds me of the old school Spurs, where Pop just talks about ball movement. He wants you to play hard on defense. I mean, I know there's times where the Nuggets give up points because they technically can here and there. It felt like through the playoffs so far. But at the same time, I do think that in the long run, it benefits their play style. Like you said, getting out rebounded and getting second, third, fourth, fifth opportunities was mainly the biggest difference, besides the fact that the Lakers couldn't hit a shot, saved their life at one point. I mean, we went over the stat, I think, in the little real shot, but of was it the real shot or no, it was a Stephen A that we were talking about how was it Stephen A and JJ Redick, where they were talking about percentage of wide open shots, or what's considered wide open shots. And I mean, when you have Bruce Brown literally shooting at 100%, being wide open. And that's just a ridiculous stat in
Shout out
itself.
to Bruce Brown,
Because
man.
he shot so well this series. And I mean,
If that dude didn't earn a contract, I mean, that age, I mean, he played out of his mind in that series, man. Just defensively too. I was like, to see him disrupting your guys' team, which was just, I mean, out of nowhere, really. Like he was.
I mean, I liked him on the Nets, and the fact that they didn't bring him back, or I forgot, was it trade or just?
No, I think they traded him.
No, they just.
But I was like,
did they trade him? I thought they traded him.
A guy like Kyrie who isn't necessarily going to play the full season. You need Bruce Brown, who knows the system at least, to stick around.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor
there. We'll get to it later, but he reminds me of Gabe Vincent, who's also been playing out of his mind in the playoffs too. So
hopefully he gets a quick recovery on that ankle.
And I will. I don't know if I was kind of zoning a little bit, but I'm not sure. Like, dude, KCP.
I miss him, dude.
I mean, that was another. I think for me, that was another X factor. Like, you know what you're getting for KCP. You're getting great defense, the hustle, and when he's on, dude, the boy can shoot the ball. And I think that's literally what he. And you know, when you have a chip on your shoulder from leaving LA, I mean, yeah, he came to prove a point of you should have kept me around over some of these other people, and you know, hats off to him, and that's awesome. So,
I guess, well.
You can rant now.
I guess this is what I'll get into a little bit quick one. But before I say what I'm about to say, I will say I just have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for LeBron James.
Shut up!
You know, it's funny.
Cap.
You know, it's funny. I should definitely think that was gonna happen. I do.
Stop the cap.
I think that you have to respect somebody, especially being a Bulls fan, who just literally kept eliminating us every single time we went up against him. Like, no matter how much they threw at him, he just seemed to always have it down to take us out in the Eastern Conference, and it was great to see every single time. But you know, from that point of view, I think on the basketball court, I mean, we don't even have to get into it. He does so much things on the basketball court; it's insane. But yeah, outside of the game of basketball, I mean, what he's done for athletes all around the world, essentially kind of creating like the Players League thing, which we've been talking about.
Also the I Promise School.
Yeah, but just allowing players to be able to get representation for themselves and get paid the way that they should get paid. I mean, we've been back and forth about whether or not players should get paid as much as they do sometimes, but
yeah,
I mean, for him to do that in a way where it's going to, you know, for generations affect players. And that's something I think that only the greats can really do, you know, really just impact the game for many years to come, even after they're out of the league. So, I will say it's going to be really weird to watch basketball if he does end up retiring soon. Like, once he retires, it's going to be like a whole shift. I'm like, I don't even know who the next guy is right now, because we really don't have that guy, like somebody to compare him to right now. So it's going to suck, because I feel like there'll be a lull until we get kind of like the next, unless Victor just ends up blasting off in his first year. But with all that being said, I just think it's funny because almost every single argument that Jared was making, I was about to say, like, LeBron stands seem to be on this train of like his age, his ankle, his this, his that. But then that same exact argument is the exact argument that these people use to like describe why he's greater than Michael Jordan, why he's better than all these other players who played in all these years, why he was able to do it for so long, for 20 years. But I'm like, if we're going to use the long-term, you know, career to like further his GOAT conversation, I feel like we have to take into consideration his bad years when we're talking about how long his career is, because this, for all intents and purposes, was not a good look for him. Like, I'll say this right now, a sweep by this Nuggets team, regardless of how great they played, a sweep by this Nuggets team to me just ends any and all future debates on whether or not he's the greatest of all time.
Did you see the stats of who else has got swept in their careers? That's the one thing that I saw.
I'll say this though. This to me is one of those teams where Jamal Murray, yes, played out of his mind. Jokic is undoubtedly the MVP of the league. We've said that many times before. But if you're looking at this team outside the scope of where we were looking at them before this series even happened, right? None of us thought they would get this far.
I didn't want to play the Nuggets first round at all. Like I think I've said it on pod. I was like, I want to play Memphis. I don't want to play Denver.
We actually said we wanted them to play the Nuggets because we thought that they were going to win that series. Yeah. I was like,
I didn't think the matchup was better.
I was like, I'm pretty sure we said we didn't want them to play like the Grizzlies.
I thought we wanted to play Memphis. I don't remember. We'll go back and watch everything.
We're ready to face the Lakers right away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't think we wanted them.
I don't remember, but we'll go back and look. I'm probably wrong.
I said for me, like I get it. I mean, I will say this, he played a tremendous game, right? 40 points. The flip side of that is he only had 9 points in that second half. Like I get there's the excuse that all these other guys didn't really show up in the end, but they have 9 points in that second half. He goes for that shot, and I'm gonna say it like that. Wasn't the greatest look on him at the end. Like, I think he did do something that we as critics of him have always been like very on board with. It was just, he just doesn't have that killer mentality. He did it. Like, good for him. Like, he was the one. We always say winners want the ball in their hands at the end of the game. When the game is on the line, winners want that last shot, right? That's what the great ones always want, that last shot. And like he finally did that.
Told Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Winners want the ball. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, and we've
You got to have heart.
And that's you gotta have heart.
Miles and miles of heart.
Miles and miles of heart.
Yeah. And I think that's always been one of our biggest critiques for him is like he just never, for some reason, doesn't want to like do that. And I get it, he makes some great, fantastic plays, great reads, whatever it might be. But like sometimes you want the guy who is like 260 pounds and can drive at any moment and take the ball in to just do exactly that. Like get that last shot, tie the game up, make the series a series. And I think it just was one of those things where throughout the game, I think I noticed it often, especially when he went to the bench and was like looking at his bench. He just looked defeated in that second half. And I understand there's a lot of things going on. You know what I mean? There's so many things that probably are triggering you to be that way because of the way the team is playing. But for him to have that demeanor, especially when he walked up, I don't know if you guys have seen the clip of him walking up to Anthony Davis, like, and I watched that live and I thought the same exact thing is like, he walks up to this guy and he's not having a great game, but instead of being like a leader and being like, you know, pick it up in the second half, you got to do this, you got to do that. It was just like, almost like he didn't want to talk to him. Like he just literally like walked past. And in my head, I was thinking, this is the LeBron that I can't get on board with. This is the guy that like, is instead of just like being like, oh, I'm going to prop you up and build you up to next year, it's like, you about to get traded. You know what I mean? Like he gave that look where I'm just like, so it's like in my head. And that's why I said it. This is where kind of my take from what I said in the other kind of clip was, I don't think if they re-sign everybody that they have this year, that they're a championship contender. I really don't. Like, I get it. They had tremendous success at the end of the season. And they did fantastic, number one defense, all this other stuff. But I don't think that they're a championship contender unless they make a major move. And that major move could be Kyrie. That major move could be something else entirely, Trae Young, whatever else other ideas are floating out there. But I really don't think with this team as currently constructed that they're a championship contender. I'm going to say this I don't even think that they get as far as they did this year without major moves. Like if they don't go out and sign somebody, if they don't go out and trade for somebody, they don't get this far, because I do think that next year Sacramento Kings is going to be looking a lot more shiny because they're probably going to add somebody. You got teams like the Warriors who are probably going to do some kind of big switch up. We already know that they have a lot of free agent contracts coming up. You got the Grizzlies who, for all their drama with the mama, like all that kind of stuff, like next year they're going to do something to change it up. Like I just think that there's so many teams in the West that are right there. And we've seen them. They had moments where they could possibly make this team look mortal. And I'm just saying, like, I don't think that they're going to get as far as they did this year. And I do say that, like, this series was not a good look for LeBron. Like, I've been on this train. I think it's pretty clear who I think is the greatest of all time. And I just
Kobe
don't
Bryant.
think that, like, yeah, I mean, no, and that was the other thing. I was like, honestly, like, I think it does make an argument for like who's even in 2, who's even in 3. Like there are some guys that I would slowly push up further, and Kobe Bryant is definitely one of those guys that I'm like.
So what about the stat of LeBron has the most clutch shots made compared to everybody else.
See, but then there's the flip side of that of like, yes, he has the most clutch shots compared to everybody else, but he played in the most games, right?
Well,
then
that means he's a winner because he gets there.
Then there's the other flip side of
that's
he has the most turnovers, he has the most minutes played, he has the most this, that. If we were to like literally do the per 36 type of stuff, he's not. Like that's what I'm saying.
The crazy part about it is though,
he plays and how many games he plays, but it really doesn't matter if at the end of the day he doesn't win. Like that's what we look at. It's like who wins?
So we only look at 6 years of Jordan's career. Literally what you're telling me.
That's the thing.
That's literally what it is. Everybody talks about it.
You're talking about the champion. I think that's
everybody talks about Jordan's championship. Nobody talks about the 1-9 postseason before everything happened. I literally did all my research before this, so I was ready for this conversation.
That's the point.
I know. Okay, so then we're gonna talk about who helps, who does this, who does that. What did Scottie Pippen say?
How many All-Star teammates has each guy had? Go down the list. Who had to trade out? Who had to trade out players to get other players onto his team? That's the point. That's the thing, right? Who has to keep stacking?
But that's because you literally gave LeBron his flowers and said that he made that league the way it is, and that's literally what happened. That's literally what happened. You allowed the players to make things happen. Yeah, right. So you allowed things to make the players. That's why players can do whatever they want now.
And that's why we have all these super teams that he's created for years and years and years. Super teams that have failed over and over and over. Dallas Mavericks, we go back to that example.
I said that was a shit. Team. That was a shit. I said it. I don't know if Nolan put it. Did you put on the real Nolan? When I said like that was the one year that I said okay. LeBron
in fact, I'll say this right now. Which one was a bigger failure? That Denver Nuggets series where he gets swept 4-0, or that series against the Dallas Mavericks where he loses to a team that's basically constructed around JJ Barea, Dirk Nowitzki, and an aging Jayson Kidd? Like I'm just like we put it.
You mean Jason Terry? Because that was the X-Factor.
Jayson Kidd was the one. No. It was J Kidd.
Right? But Jason Terry was literally the X Factor in that series.
But either way, I'm like, which one is the bigger failure? Because at the end of the day, when we look at it,
I don't think Denver was
a tremendous career, and
I don't think Denver was. I would say Dallas is the biggest one, and I only don't think Denver is because I say that Nikola Jokic is Jokic. I was saying, I was looking for the Jokic. You know, thought we were talking about tennis. Yeah, that's why I'm over here like thinking but that's what I said. Like, I mean. Everybody knew hands down that Jokic was the MVP.
I think the same reason why we don't look at
the biggest thing for me.
The same reason we don't look at Michael Jordan, and I've never said that it's only the fact that he won championships for 6 years.
But that's everybody's argument.
But you say
Bill Russell's the greatest of all time.
Are we going to say that he couldn't have won 9, 10 had that team stayed together? Are we going to say that never could have happened had he never retired in the middle and at the end?
I mean, that's like saying Kyrie could have stayed. Real. Kevin Durant could have like 10 rings too. Kevin Durant could have 10 rings too.
But would they have?
Steph would have 10 as well.
Kyrie could have stayed and they would have lost the next year. Like,
realistically,
they added KD that next year. So I'm like, would they have won the next year? I'm like, I'm just saying. I'm like,
Kevin Durant, top 3 small forward all time, guys. Right?
See,
Kevin Durant back in the dude, I had to make him relevant. You know, we have to talk about Kevin Durant at least once every pod.
That's why. But what I'm saying is, it never was about his rings. It was about how dominant the team was. And I think at the end of the day, statistically, yes, you can't argue. He's had 20 years of a career. Fantastic. But when we're actually having to compare just a small window of time for those 10 years, I'll put it at 10, 15 years. We could say from his rookie season till he finished in the league, right? Just in that small window, he was still a better player than LeBron James was. Like, that's the point I think we're misconstruing over here. It's not about the 6 years of dominance that they had, because realistically, if it was talking about the 6 years, we could also talk about how it should have been 9 years of dominance. There should have been a longer span, but because he retired, things change. And like, I think it's funny that people point to the Scottie Pippen argument because he retired. Clearly, they weren't enough without him being there. And the moment he comes back, they're right back in the mix again. And I think it's never been about that 7 years. It's been about how fantastically like great he was for those many, many years. And I think on top of that, what's always bothered me about LeBron is that none of these greats have ever put themselves in that conversation. None of them. Kobe never did. Jordan never did. Kareem never did. None of them said, I'm the greatest of all time. Not once.
You know why?
All of them have always
because from day one that LeBron got into the league, everybody wanted him to fail. He had the expectations of the world as an 18-year-old, and that was not Michael Jordan. But that wasn't Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was, I'm great. I won a championship, but he was never expected to do anything in the first 5 years of his career. If LeBron didn't make the playoffs or do shit his freshman year, and he didn't make,
then he should have.
He didn't win Rookie of the Year.
Like that's the point.
But if he didn't do any of that,
he should have.
I mean, what was Kobe in that conversation when Kobe got into the league? That's exactly what it was.
Without saying anything, like I'm just saying, these are the guys.
Kobe didn't do nothing his rookie year.
He was also
he shot like 5. He also was there. How many airballs did he shoot in his first year?
Hey, we don't talk about the airballs. Shut your damn mouth.
Well, we'll save this for another conversation because I feel like I love the rant. I love the banter. But I'm gonna be the real.
I like watching from now.
You know why? Because normally it's you and Coyote.
I think throwing out all these other names really doesn't help further his argument.
I'm gonna give you the Jaylen. You have your opinion, but you're wrong. But it's okay.
So you actually think that LeBron is number one? Then I'm gonna put that on pod right here.
I told you. I said I think it's a 1A. I think it's a 1A and it's a 1B conversation. I don't think there's a 1A, 1B. It's the same thing you talked about. Whose era is it? It's Steph and it's LeBron. It's a 1A, 1B. You said that when we talked about eras, and that's what it is. So.
And you
no, I didn't. I said it was a LeBron era. I didn't say it was a Steph era. I said it was a LeBron era.
Well, we'll go back to that pod. We're gonna go back and revisit that one.
Nolan said 1A, 1B.
Sure, you said 1A, 1B.
Nolan said 1A, 1B.
Oh yeah, you definitely.
I might have.
I
probably did.
Yeah.
You definitely did. Say what?
But I
said this on me. This is between you two.
No, I'm just saying, like, because I'm pretty sure I said that it's a LeBron era because I think I started it. I think you asked me first.
Gotcha.
But yes, we'll banter about this on another pod. But
to cap it all
is that Nikola Jokic is the greatest of all time.
Who's 1A?
I think you guys both have valid points, and I'm not here to say who's the greatest. But in my personal opinion, I still have.
He's gonna say Kobe.
I still have MJ above. But I do think yes, this does damage LeBron's career. But at the same time, because he's on that pedestal, it's still in year 20. We are easy to scrutinize the season itself a lot easier. But I do think Keone does have the great points in the span of dominance. Michael Jordan was more dominant compared to what so far LeBron has done in his career. Whereas, yes, he's had many successes, accolades, records. But in the same time, I do think that there is a point where you do have to say, yeah, he did all these things, but if he wasn't able to take his team over the top when they needed him most, it is a lot harder to look at him as the greatest of all time. And is that for us necessarily to say? We're just great NBA super fans. You know what I mean? Like we can say what we want, what we love, who we think is better than who. But at the end of the day, it's a mixed bag. You're gonna get people.
I mean, I look at a guy like Carmelo. I mean, we consider him one of the greatest power forwards on the scoring list of all time. Was the top 3 all time.
Yep.
And
top 3 all time.
He gets forgotten because guess what? He couldn't get there. Like he
got there. He got there. No, there's a difference. He got there. He just couldn't. He couldn't complete the shit.
I think what made that worse is like literally like 5 years back, 5 years forward. You know what I mean? They could have won.
Mm-hmm.
But like, just because it was like that. Like the window lined up perfectly for it. Yeah, it sucks, but. Yeah, I do think that he's one of those players that I'm like, I just wanted him to win, and the Lakers.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the Barkley argument. You know, when Shaq always talks to Barkley about the rings and everything, I was like, I love Charles when he played.
Yeah, he's another one.
Yeah, you know, when he was there and everything.
Off-court antics that was going on with the Lakers team that season.
Yeah. It's funny because that season is such a blur. It was only one, right? There was only one season.
The 1 year that they put everybody together, they only kept it for one. Yeah. With GP and Carmelo and it was only 1 year.
He got the shit there.
But still, that
was crazy when he went to the Heat.
Oh yeah, that's why I was like that Lakers year is always going to be one that stings for me personally, just because
Dude,
I
that was
really
the year
wanted.
that I was excited to watch Laker basketball.
Oh
Like,
yeah, oh yeah,
it's just because they had the Hall of Famers, all the
because we all
people that you
hated the
wanted
Lakers
to.
up until that
Yeah,
point.
I
of
I
course.
was collecting all the bobbleheads that Carl's Jr. was selling for the people on the roster. They had like a set of 10. Carl Malone, Gary Payton, Derek Fisher. I was just collecting all of them every single weekend I could.
Oh, for real?
Dude, you
Yeah.
should put it. You should bring it on the pod
I'll
next
have to
time.
find them because I think they're at my parents somewhere. Because we
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
that's
I was like, that's kind of
100%.
cool.
I don't
Like how I
remember.
pulled the Grant,
There
I
was,
pulled
like,
the Grant Hill
9.
thing that one time.
There
I
was
want to see
9 I
that.
had. I think I'm missing the 10th one. I don't remember who the 10th was though.
You should definitely. I was like,
You should
hold
look
on
on
to that,
Amazon,
see what the
bro.
value is. Yeah.
Look, I was like, look on
okay.
Amazon, look on eBay. Maybe you can get a quick, quick little money in there.
Oh damn!
and
Okay,
just get
I
the
didn't
set.
realize what time, bro. I was like, okay, we're gonna continue on with the Miami Heat and the Boston.
See, I
Celtics.
told you. I was like,
Okay.
as much as I want to keep arguing, like
I just noticed
I
the time.
looked. No, I looked at our timer over here, and I was like, bro, we're like
My
30
man.
minutes.
Actually, I'll throw it over to you first because we have the Boston Celtics, who I think we're all in agreement that they were probably going to be the team to beat in the East. But I mean, give them some credit because they just took the last 2 games. They're heading into a game 6. For those who don't know, we're recording this on Saturday, so I believe actually they play today, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they play
Game
today.
6.
I think so, yeah.
So by the time this comes out, they may already be eliminated. But anyway, we're just
We'll
here
have
to
a
talk
reaction
about.
recording.
Yeah, exactly. So we're here to talk about the series. Jared, what have you seen from specifically? We'll talk about the first 3 games, I guess, because Miami, did those pretty handily. What did you see that the Celtics weren't doing, kind of, in those first 3 games that they were able to kind of lock in for the last 2 to do?
They weren't winning.
They weren't putting the ball in the basket more than the other team. No, that's honestly what it was. In my opinion, like they let Jimmy get hot. They started talking shit when they were up. Jimmy comes there, and you know. I mean, simple A and B conversation, bro. It's just literally whoever puts the ball in the basket more is going to win. No.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Heat came in with the mindset because they were eliminated by them, right? Wasn't it last year they were eliminated? So they were. Jimmy said, right? No, we're going to be back here next year. We're going to be a different team. We're going to be this. We're going to be that. And I think they like the Nuggets. They came out with a chip on their shoulder, coming out to say, hey, we're here. We're here. We made it. We want to go into. We brought what we said into fruition, and it's going to happen. And I think the Heat played with a little more sense of urgency. I always talk about sense of urgency because it does show. It literally shows on the court. But I also do think that in the beginning, and I think I said it on the Rio part, like Jayson Tatum just didn't get help in the beginning. They won the last games. The last game, game 5. Well, yeah, it was game 5, and I think 7 people in double digits, and Tatum wasn't even their leading scorer. When Boston's playing like that, and this is what I thought Boston was going to do from the beginning, when I said that Boston was going to come out of the East, because they had that roster where any player can go off on any night, and they have a great supporting cast. I do think it came into factor of the Heat, like Nolan said, they play hard for 48 minutes. They play with a little smaller of a rotation, and it will catch up to them. And I think in the maybe not the last game, but the game 4, you could tell, game 5 was a little bit more shown in that regard. So, I mean, for me, I would say yes, it was like making baskets and not making baskets for Boston, but it literally was like Jayson Tatum. Like everybody complained that Jayson Tatum didn't show up. He wasn't that guy. He had all these other things going on last year, and then this year he shows up, and then nobody else wants to show up with him. So for Boston, I think it's kind of cool because they're hitting stride kind of right at the right time. I would say. Like even though they're down in the series, like this is where you want to be to pull out a 7-game win and ride that straight into the finals. Because I think, like we always talk about, momentum in the playoffs is the biggest part of everything. And if you can keep that momentum and keep going with it, that's where you're going to be successful. And that's why I brought up the question to Nolan earlier about the Nuggets. And like I agree with you, like their play style doesn't require them to, but when you're hot and you're flowing and everything looks like a well-oiled machine, taking days off is not like playing a series, a game. especially in the playoffs. We always talk about playoff basketball being different than regular season basketball, and a lot of it has to do with the level of play, the level of intensity, and like I said, playing with a sense of urgency. And when you don't have that consistently, then it can really hurt your team in the long run, in my opinion. So I want to see a 7-game, but
you made a good point that I was like, it's funny because I think to a detriment to the Lakers team was the fact that they were playing these long series prior to meeting you guys. Like they made it all click in those first 2 series before they met you, which is why like they were like.
I mean, we watched Denver through, and we're like, oh, they're gonna sweep. But I mean, they falter our game. But it's like you just watch them, and they're always in the game.
Yeah,
it was always like it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. They were just playing good, consistent basketball, and that's what playoff basketball is. It's hard consistency that you need to have, and that's what wins you championships. And
I mean, especially when you look at the half, and you guys are like up by like 14 or whatever. Like
don't
most series.
I know.
But I'm just saying.
I've seen it.
For most series.
That's why we lost, because you watched. We said don't watch.
That is true. You did say when you watch, they lose.
No. I said when I coach, they lose, and I was coaching that day.
And you were watching. You said when you were watching while you were coaching, you're losing. See,
that's neither here nor there. Let's focus, like Mike Jones said, let's focus on the teams in the finals right now, which is the Denver Nuggets.
LeBron would have got that foul at the end, but no, you had to watch.
You know what? LeBron is the greatest of all time.
Thank you. Clip it. Yes, clip it.
I was just kidding.
Okay, we're not going back to that conversation, but yeah, for me, like that's what Boston's doing, and I do think I want to say, because they were up 3-0. I really don't see Miami fumbling the bag here. I really don't. As much as I want to see it happen, because I want my bet to come true in the fact of the Celtics getting to the final.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I do want Jimmy to get there. I mean, Jimmy's had a great run. I think his supporting cast has been phenomenal for him. Like you talked about Vincent, we'll talk about
names, man.
We'll talk about you talk about and then like Duncan Robinson coming into effect somewhat now. Like he's actually making, like he's trying to earn that money that he got paid. He's trying to make it actually worth it now, where he actually sees the court. And so all these little things. I mean, it's nice to see a team like Miami. I know it's not our ideal team, but I think they understand of like we talked about with the whole Jimmy just getting to the playoffs, and then now they're all clicking on great cylinders as well. And I think that'd be a fun matchup to watch.
I hope
with them in Denver. Them in Denver, I think that would be super fun. Just because Jimmy's gonna be Jimmy, Jimmy just gonna be Jimmy. But the grit that Miami shows, I don't think there's any team that showed that grit yet.
Yeah,
and I think that's gonna be like the X factor if Miami plays Denver, because Denver is not used to seeing that. You know what I mean? So I think that's
very true.
That's partly why I really do want to see them play.
Doesn't have that grit. MJ is the greatest of all time.
You know, it's funny that the Eastern Conference.
Don't clip that shit.
The politics.
We already paused the other one.
In general, like for this entire like playoffs, has been just like really grit and grind type of series thus far, and like teams going back and forth trading, and I'm just like. It's funny because on the Western side, like it's been a lot of like really flashy offensive play, like we're obviously seen with like the Warriors and the Kings in that one series, and then kind of throw afterwards. I was just like, it's been a lot of that, but man, like seeing those two styles clash at the end, I'm hoping for it, but that's also because I'm kind of biased and I want Jimmy to get to the end, but
Well, I mean, I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, he works way too damn hard, dude.
Yeah.
And
he I mean, like you want to talk about not having a superstar on your team besides him. Literally, that's the man.
Yeah.
That's the guy. I mean, Bam's. Remember we talked about Bam was supposed to be the second option. I was like,
I thought
Bam
was
serious
still
about
good,
this, but he's just there now.
Yeah. And
I mean,
they're doing it without Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
They're doing it without Tyler Hero, which is
missing like 20
crazy.
points. Yeah,
But hey, kudos
because
to Duncan Robinson,
he's that guy, man.
He's stepping in nice and hot where he was in the bubble. So I was like, okay, there you go, man.
Yep. And that's why he got paid.
Robinson,
yep.
Vincent, like honestly, it's funny because I saw an article that I was like, I think it came out right before the playoffs where it was like the Bulls should target Gabe Vincent, and at first I was like, huh? And they're like, watching him play more, I'm just like, that dude's gonna get a contract somewhere. Hopefully not with us, but somewhere. But anyway, Nolan, I'm throwing it over to you. Besides kind of your overall thoughts on the series, give me your predictions for said series as we head into Game 6 today.
Well, I kind of echo a lot of the sentiments that Jared had. You love to see the Heat succeeding by sheer will.
I'm trying to steal Jared's points.
Okay, all right, moving on. But yeah, the Celtics. I don't want to talk down on the Celtics, but the fact of the matter is, you've been a successful franchise for the past 4, maybe 5 years. And the fact that you're still not able to kind of push it over the edge in the playoffs finals is saying something. I love Tatum's game. I love Jaylen Brown when he's feeling it and he's invested. I love Marcus Smart, great two-way player. But this series is just showing, I don't know if it's lack of preparation. I don't know if it's Joe Mazzulla's rotations. I just think that the Celtics are showing that they aren't ready to be a premier team in the league or to be a championship team. And Tatum is year 6 now?
Yeah.
Year 5, year 6.
He's at the end of his rookie max
extension. And we could all say, oh yeah, MJ didn't win his first ring until he was 27, or LeBron didn't win his first ring until he was 27. He's only 25 right now. Okay, well, sure, whatever, but if he's gonna say that he's one of the greatest in the league, I need to need you to show me something. But I also agree, the Celtics play better when it's team ball, and so that leads me to my thought: is this the right team for Tatum? If you want Tatum to succeed as being a elite all-star player, possibly Hall of Fame by the end of his career, is the Celtics the franchise for him? If their success comes with them being like
he's
a great
not
team.
getting traded to the Lakers for LeBron. That's it.
Or will he? No, but yeah, because I mean,
LeBron on the Celtics sans Tatum, that'd be
because
that'd be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of interesting.
All-time players like Tim Duncan who excelled in the system that he was in. But Jayson Tatum either excels or they have a great system going.
Just got excited seeing LeBron in Celtic green.
Oh God!
Damn! Can you imagine though?
I can't.
Smart Brown,
like full circle, because that used to be Eastern Conference full, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
It used to be that, and then full circle to be on the other side of it now.
I don't think
that would be dope.
Woohoo!
I just got excited.
Overall, I think I have the Heat tonight in 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I don't know what the Celtics need to do. I'm impressed that they were able to bounce back the 2-0 right now in the last 2 games. If they get this third game, I can definitely see this switching over in Game 7 to them because it's at Boston. But I think the Heat have this one. As long as they step up to the plate, they can take it, and we'll welcome June 1st as the new finals champion is going to be erupted from there. So
pushing this a little bit forward, do you say that does happen? And I know that they're both due for like max contract extensions, especially because they both made, I think, first team, second team, one of the teams. Both of them made it. Do you trade Jaylen Brown? Because, I mean, realistically, it sounds more like they're going to trade him as opposed to trading Jayson Tatum. And if they do, who do you kind of see as being like that guy to pair with Jayson Tatum in any sort of trade? Like, who for you is the match?
If I'm being completely honest,
LeBron James.
Low-key, bro. Honestly, not the more you say it,
Brown for LeBron.
That'd be a perfect rebuild piece. I'm just saying.
For LeBron,
I would go for
Brown and somebody else. You think he's gonna leave?
You can start Brogdon, Smart, Tatum, Grant Williams, and Joel Embiid. That's a nice lineup right there.
Like if Harden leaves, I think that 76ers have to at least entertain trading him because Embiid's not going to be happy trying to run it back with Tobias Harris.
Yep, I'm just
Tobias Harris over me.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I think Joel Embiid, because Horford is not what he used to be. You're gonna need someone who can plug the paint but also excel.
They just trade Horford back to the 76ers. Imagine it's like Horford Brown. I mean,
do what you gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do.
Damn. Yeah, low key. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, low key. I mean, not that Boston and LA have ever been friendly, but if they ever traded, I'm just saying.
For DeMar DeRozan.
3-team trade. 3-team trade.
I'm just saying, you open up LeBron James' career winning championship window with the Celtics, and then you kind of reset with Jaylen Brown in LA. I'm just saying that's not a bad swap of talent.
I mean, Jaylen Brown could go to the Bulls. Jaylen Brown could go to the Bulls, and then Vucevic and DeMar can go to LA.
We're not going into
3-team trade. I'm helping you out, DeMar DeRozan, man. I'm helping you get rid of him.
Thanks, Jared. It's just
we'll save that for an off-season pod of who should trade for who.
Who should get DeMar DeRozan?
Actually,
that's literally what it's gonna be.
Well, before that, what is your prediction, Jared? Sorry. That's what I was gonna say.
Man, I said it. I would just really want the Heat to win as much as I want Boston to take it to 7. I think the Heat close out tonight because they're at home too. So I think that's what it's going to be.
I think we're all on the same train, so I'm really hoping the Heat close it out tonight too. So hopefully we get a Nuggets Heat final. We've been pretty bad on our predictions, so
since we're really bad at our predictions, I'm going to say Celtics win tonight. Who are you taking to game? Who are you taking to game 7? Because we all said Heat close out tonight. Who do you taking game 7?
Man,
I think that's what I want to know.
Man. Yeah.
I mean, I want to say Boston because you're freaking on that 3-game win streak. It's you're
in
rolling in Boston. It's
There's
gonna be
crazy. Not ready for tonight or tomorrow.
At the same time, Jimmy.
Game 7, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Game 7, Jimmy.
He's shown
but Game 7, Tatum dropped 50, bro.
Environments like.
Game 7, Tatum dropped 50 at home.
Imagine they both go off for 50. That'd be a crazy game.
But that was more. I think that was more my question about like who's gonna win that one. If there is a game 7.
Has had a stroke after having to get banged 50 times.
There was a bang that went off of him.
No, but what else? I forgot. Oh, I was just saying. Last kind of point before we get off this pod. I know it's gonna completely just bring down the volume a little bit here, but I mean we have Carmelo Anthony retiring.
Oh shit!
After a very long career. First and foremost, thoughts on Carmelo Anthony's career. Second thing I want to bring up is the obvious elephant in the room of him being number 15, Nikola Jokic being number 15. The Nuggets are at a crossroads of possibly retiring him. Do you retire both of them at number 15? How would you go about the situation? And any thoughts on Carmelo, if you got any? First, Nolan.
First, kudos to Carmelo on a long, successful career for him as a player individually. Obviously, he wasn't able to get that ring. But, yeah, man, the retiring of the jersey, I think if Jokic wins this ring, it's cemented in stone that it has to be his 15. If for some reason they don't win this ring, that would have to be a conversation between Jokic and Carmelo on if Jokic is willing to change his number. I don't necessarily think Jokic has any heartfelt ties to number 15.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you have to really look at it, man. I mean, Jokic, 2-time MVP. Carmelo has not gotten an MVP. You lead someone to the finals. Carmelo has not led them to the finals. So looking at it from that point, I don't think it's like the Nuggets would be willing to eventually retire both 15s. So it'd have to be for Jokic. And I don't know if they can do some sort of pseudo just jersey without like a blank slate and then just put Carmelo on the back of the jersey.
Just with his face in the middle.
That'd be more weird. It's just like him with the braids, just like old school Melo. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's looking more. It's the scales are leaning towards Jokic in his 15, but I think that's going to be even more cemented once this season ends.
Mm-hmm. Would you do like a pseudo both retirement of the numbers, Jared, or is this like a for sure Jokic has to take that?
I'm so torn with it. I do
Mm-hmm.
agree with Nolan in a sense. If Jokic wins, like that's kind of going to give him the edge.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for me, I would want to see both be up there in the rafters wearing the 15, just because what Melo has done for that team and made them relevant again. You know what I mean?
The other argument that they've made for Melo is that when they traded him, they got Jamal Murray.
Yeah,
it's true.
So he helped. Jokic become Jokic. I saw that. Like for me, it's just like they're two great players, and I think they're both. I would say at this point, I feel like they're selfless players where they wouldn't mind sharing the rafters with another great athlete like that. Like you said, Jokic has 2 MVPs, should be 3, but and Melo hasn't gotten there because of we'll leave that up. But I'm just gonna say should be 3. But Melo's always had to play, and it sucks because I don't want to bring up the whole thing, but he's playing in the shadow of LeBron because they got drafted at the same time and all those things, and so it's tough to see both sides of it. But I do think you give a player like Melo that kind of flowers because of the things he's done in his career. And like I said, with Denver, he's made it relevant. And that's where, like he made the trade happen and he did his thing in New York, which is awesome for him because I think that's where he shined even more. Because that's where you literally could find out that he was a lights out shooter.
And as much as people
couldn't do anything else, but 62 points and 0-0-0-0.
Oh yeah, but even as much gripe as people have against George Karl, even George Karl's in agreement that Melo's jersey number needs to be in the rafters because he's the one who put the Nuggets back on the map. And made them relevant.
He really was.
Like Jared said. So it's hard. I mean,
I think they could do like a cool stitch where it's like the new Nuggets jersey and then the old.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be cool, but I think also that's disrespectful to each of the players. Like, wouldn't you want your jersey?
Well, what if
it's just Antich on the back?
Antich.
Hey, isn't there Antich in the league before?
Yeah,
I see. He was a center, right?
He was on the Cavs for a little bit.
Yeah, he was a big man.
Yeah.
But I think it would be kind of cool in a sense of like you said, like maybe not the stitch together, but if they got their own, like when they played the jersey color, and then so that's what differentiates what it is,
Each one
was you could retire an old version of the jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
because there's a new jersey, right? There's the new jersey, and there's an old jersey and everything. So
huh?
Dun, dun, dun.
Joke. There's like a New Jersey. I was like, New Jersey Nets.
Stupid. Okay, on that note, what else you got?
It's like, all right. You just ruined the end of this podcast.
Now we lost all our viewers, man.
Congrats to, and we did talk about it. I know because Melo's a person of great interest. But I will say, we did talk about Andre Iguodala as well. Iggy.
Yeah.
Iggy retiring, and I think that needs to just be brought to light because I think Iggy had a great career, hindered by injury in the last.
Former MVP of the finals,
slam dunk competition. Like he was the face of Philly after Iverson left, and like he's had a very lengthy career as well as a very successful career, and I think he has a Finals MVP that, We'll just talk about that later. Talk about that later. But he has his rings. He's done around.
Too.
Yeah.
Like that. Was it Drew Holiday, Elton Brand?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Damn, that's a throwbacks. But
Corver was on there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was like, ooh, that's a good little lineup.
Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to I want to give Melo his flowers as well. But I do think we haven't talked about Iggy, and I love Iggy. I think he's got a future on holding a clipboard as well because of the knowledge of the game that he can pass, and I think that's what he was doing in Golden State, and that's why they brought him back. So, I mean,
it's funny you say that because I was like, and shout out to both former Bulls, Andre Iguodala, Carmelo Anthony.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because that's right. Iggy got traded to us and then waived promptly, and then same thing with Melo, traded to us and waived promptly. But I was like, just absolute Bulls legends, which is insane. So
I know.
Greatest of all.
Greatest signings of all time, bro. Greatest signings.
It's so funny because I was like, man, had this happened like 10 years ago, I'd be so stoked that we just got Melo or Iggy.
Like, imagine no turnovers in your whole tenure with the Bulls. That's crazy.
God. It's funny too because I was like, there's a dream of like that Melo team that we never got to have because Melo last second pulled out and went back to the Knicks. Just could have been Jimmy and Melo and
dude, that would have been
Rose and whatever. Don't talk about it. Anyway.
Yeah, that way to break down the ending of the pod again.
Anyway, so that'll do it for us here on this episode of After the Buzzer. Thank you for joining us on this episode. We're gonna have a lot to break down after Game 6 tonight. So join us again when we do probably a reactionary video on Instagram sometime, probably tomorrow, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, Nolan, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at NolanKYT, NOLANKYT.
And Jared, where can the people find you?
You can find me arguing with Keone again after this, but no.
I am on things to worry about.
Yeah, we'll argue while we're playing. No. Maybe I will be on Twitch doing that. No, I'm on Instagram and Twitch as well at JShirai, JSHIRAI, and on Twitter JShirai808.
I just realized what you were doing. No. For me, you can find me on Instagram.
He was
Twitter,
mixing. You didn't know?
I know. At KONE, that's KYOHKNE. Anyway, we need to keep it together, boys. This is the podcast. It has been a pleasure. It's been a joy from all of us here at Point Soy.
Good vibes and love, everybody.
Bang, bang.
Shoots.